Hey, Breck Churchill does something unique that puts money in your pocket out of nowhere. Money you can use for shoring up those marketing investments that you know you're going to need. I'm Pete Monfre, and this is your moment of clarity. So, Breck, you're with a company called Essential Resources, right?
I am.
And for full disclosure, Breck and I are friends. We're colleagues. He does something amazing. He gets Uncle Sam to pay for your marketing plan. Is that somewhat accurate?
That's a good description. I
Like in
get
the
Uncle Sam
ballpark?
to give you money, and man, you
Yeah.
can take that money and reinvest it back in your business. You bet.
Money's tight. Money's tight for everybody. Nobody has unlimited budget. Their clients are always afraid to tell you their budget
hmm
because for some reason they think you're going to be like shooting guns off and going to Mexico on their money. In reality, all of them need to pull a rabbit out of a hat. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
It's hard to figure out how do we do this for the resources that we have. And so when I learned about this idea, we're going to talk about it in just a minute. I just immediately attached it to the idea of marketing. But really, you can this method that we're going to talk about really can be invested in a lot of places in the business.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's money. First of all, let me tell you exactly what it is. It's
Yeah,
it's
tell us
in the,
about it.
it's in the arena of research and development. Um, this is a very broad topic, but it's a topic that, frankly, a lot of medium to small sized businesses don't know anything about. It's been around for 40 years. It got started in 1981. And essentially, Uncle Sam put this into place because they wanted businesses in America to invest in research and development to develop products and things that would impact the world. Okay, they wanted to take it out to the world. And so they had some very stringent Herculean hoops that you had to jump through in order to qualify for research and development. So most everyone thinks in terms of, if you've got a company that has a laboratory with people walking around with white coats,
Right.
like a pharmaceutical company or maybe the engineering department at Ford Motor Company or something like that. These are all people who get research and development tax benefits, and they do. But a very cool thing happened in 2015. Uncle Sam came out with something called the PATH Act, which is like the Protect Americans from Tax Hikes Act. And there's certain parts or components of that that absolutely open the door to businesses that are small to medium sized. Basically, any business, say 50 million and under. Okay, the door opened up for them with a real broad brushstroke of what you do that qualifies you for research and development tax benefits also. And so the biggest reason why most businesses don't take advantage of R&D is because of self-censure. They just don't think that they qualify. The things that qualify you for R&D has now broadened such that they want domestic companies to be able to maintain a competitive stance in the global marketplace. So there's whatever you're doing in terms of product wise, processes wise, any systems that you have in place. It could be a software solution that you implemented in your company just to keep you up to date, state of the art, so you can compete in our global economy. There's things that you're doing there that probably do qualify for research and development. So like I said, there's a very broad brushstroke, and the process again with the PATH Act, it became much simpler. They came out with something called the alternative simplified method. So you don't have to jump through as many hoops that you used to have to prior. So it's a much simpler process.
So simple process applies to a lot of the everyday activity, and you can get a tax deduction for your R&D. So your company, this is part of a larger service, right? You work. I think this is really important for anybody that's watching this, because I didn't know that a category existed of companies that come in, they comb through your operational expenses, and they find areas that either you're paying too much or there's a more competitive way to do it. Lots of different options there, but basically, you're finding money out of nowhere, and
Mhm.
on top of this is you're looking for opportunities to quantify that R&D tax credit, right?
Mhm.
It's on
Yeah,
top of.
that's exactly right. Bottom line is you're entitled to money as a business owner that you don't even know exists. And you don't because you've censored yourself thinking you don't qualify, number one. And number two, and this is not any kind of a knock on the CPA community out there or the accountant community out there, but R&D is a very specialized field. So you typically see your big four who have R&D specialists on staff that take care of those kinds of things. The normal mom and pop accounting firm that takes care of, your everyday medium to small size business, they don't have the
Right.
expertise for that. So that's where we come in, and we can work in concert with those folks to help their businesses or their business clients get the value add that they're entitled to.
So yeah, so let me make sure I understand that. So, we think of research and development, we think of pharmaceuticals, right? We
Mhm,
think of the next Ford Explorer,
mhm,
but we don't think about mom and pop sitting down and figuring out their operational systems.
mhm,
We don't think of them a $40 million company going, hey, we need to do a marketing plan. Money's
mhm,
tight, or we need to expand our advertising, whatever it is.
mhm.
Money's tight,
That's right.
and you can come in and find this money. Now, here's the best part, and I'm, again, not selling Breck's business here. I want you people to be aware that this exists. This is my favorite thing. So I'm a consultant, right? I come with a price tag. I work with companies to help them expand their marketing effectiveness, and you have a very different model, which I love. You don't get paid unless you find money.
You're absolutely right. We do this on a contingency basis, and it's kind of contrary to what you normally see in the business community out there. But it provides a value. We come in and we understand. We do all of the question and answers, and we do technical write-ups that we submit to our accountants to look to see if there's absolutely something there that you can't qualify for. If there is, then we get you to upload taxes, because we can go back 3 years. And that's the great thing about this, because we're not just looking at this year. We can go back 3 years. And that's the reason why we see clients all the time getting a 6-digit tax refund from Uncle Sam.
Hmm.
So we do all of this analysis. And then if we find money, we let you know what it is. And at that point, then you engage us. And once you engage us, then we fill out all of the admitted tax returns. Or if you're filing for the current year, we fill out those returns for you too, on behalf of the company, that they can give it to their accountant and then submit. Like I had an engineering firm just the other day where we found them about $50,000 from the last 3 years, but we found them another $60,000 this year. So we did a carry forward, and we provided the paperwork for them to give to their accountant to add to their tax filing, so that they didn't have to pay that $100,000 this year.
So there's no leap of faith involved.
No,
No,
absolutely not.
you're gonna do a whole bunch of work. I'm sure confidentiality, a huge
Yep,
deal. You sign all the paperwork, and
yep.
then you take a look at their information, their books, all the information, and you identify specific things, and then they can decide if they want to take advantage of that or not. Now, what keeps them from
Exactly.
you? If you're telling them how to do it and what to do, what keeps them from just saying, "Hey, we don't need any help. We're going to take this and take your advice."
So where are they going to take it? To that accountant who didn't know how to do it before?
This
I
I might
mean,
edit this out, but I'm curious about it.
well, no. Well, that's fine. But I mean, that was one of the first questions that I thought of too before I even got into this, was why wouldn't you just go to your accountant and have them do a little research and do and produce the paperwork for you? Because it's a lot more involved to understanding R&D from an accountant's perspective than just doing a little bit of research. It's an actual specialization. I go to an orthopedic because I hurt my knee, or I tore up my rotator cuff. I don't go to a family physician. I don't go to a primary care physician for that. If you think about it, Pete, have you ever met a business owner who woke up and said, I think this year I want to be smaller?
Nope,
No,
nope.
I haven't either. In fact, I've never met one yet that didn't want to grow their business. Well, if if I can open a door for Uncle Sam to give you a 5-digit or a 6-digit check that you can reinvest in your business to hire a qualified marketing expertise or sales training expertise, my gosh,
Right, all of the places that are constrained because
yeah,
of whatever realities, and the chances are you're already spending the money. It's just a matter of moving it,
yeah.
plus R&D credit from Uncle Sam. You mentioned there's a pretty broad group of categories that
Hmm.
can take advantage of this. Can you tell us
Hmm.
some of those? What are those
Oh golly.
categories?
And I think they'll kind of blow you away, because they do me. Things like farming, farming, construction, dentist. Who would have thought? Dentist,
R&D.
anything in the medical field. Yeah, this is all for R&D. These are all businesses that typically qualify for some kind of R&D benefit. Electricians, HVAC, insurance companies. real estate businesses. You mentioned telecommunication before. That's another one. Telecommunications, software, golf courses,
What about
breweries, wineries.
professional services,
Well, it just depends. Yeah, I mean, it's worth talking to because
like
there
a
may be,
consulting firm?
yeah,
Could they be
they're
a client?
whatever they're doing. If they're doing some things to update their ability to communicate, that changes and streamlines their processes or their systems, absolutely, it's worth a
Wow.
call. It's worth a call. You just have to be making money. You have to be profitable. Obviously, if you're not paying taxes, then we're not going to find anything for you, right?
Right, right.
So if you're paying taxes, there's an opportunity to go back 3 years and get you 3 years worth of refund. And then we can work with you each year going forward to make sure that you get what's coming due to you each year going forward.
Yeah, and see what I love about it as a marketing strategy guy, there is this hard to swallow fact about marketing is that you have to figure out what in the heck you're going to do before you start doing it. And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
companies get that backwards. They go out and buy a website, they go out and do this,
Mm-hmm.
and they're spending money here, spending money there. They're all
Mm-hmm.
wondering why it doesn't work. Here's why: because you got to invest in figuring it out. And that does come with some level of cost, whether you do it with your internal people, you're paying them their salaries, or you bring a guy like me in to help facilitate that. There's a certain cost to that.
Right.
What if you found 3 times that amount in savings that you're potentially eligible for, but your accountant didn't quite understand how to make it happen?
Right.
You guys make it happen.
Yeah, we do. In fact, let me give you another scenario. I love what
Fantastic.
you just talked about. Let's take a look at another scenario. How many business owners have you met with in your career who you knew they wanted help, you knew they needed help, but they were afraid to spend the money on it?
All of them.
Right. Because money's tight, right? What better opportunity to have than to get some free money back from Uncle Sam and take that money and invest it in growing your business?
Seems easy answer for me.
Absolutely. Me too.
I think one of the challenges, so if we get kind of a little bit meta here, people don't even know that a service like this exists.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's one barrier, right? Nobody thinks
Right.
of, wonder how much money I'm wasting. I'm just going to try to find a company that does all this stuff. So
Uh-huh.
so there's that. And then lately, a lot of different kinds of cost reduction companies
Yep.
do something. They sound very similar. They're not the same. They're different, but they sound really similar. So you've got a lot of companies that do something around operational costs, also work on a contingency.
Mm-hmm.
So the question becomes, so I'd imagine you have to educate people that you exist and then
Mm-hmm.
why you're the best option to
Yep.
do this for them.
Yep.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I don't hear anybody talking about the R&D tax credit.
You know what? And it's like I said, most people don't even understand or know that it's available to them. Their accountant's not telling them that. And even if they hear R&D, I guarantee you, a farmer, a guy that owns a construction company, or the guy that owns a golf course or a brewery or a winery or whatever, the woman that owns an insurance firm, they're thinking R&D, and they're always thinking labs, white coats. We don't have
Right.
that. We don't qualify. Here's one of the things that I think is in their favor. Believe it or not, COVID. And here's why I think that. Because businesses are now understanding tax stimulus money. They're understanding that Uncle Sam will pay them for certain things. So now they're more open to looking and see what's available from Uncle Sam for them.
A great way to help pay for your marketing. Breck Churchill, thanks for being with us. If you want to contact him, his contact information is in the post below this. And you've just had your moment of clarity.
Thanks, Pete.